Jinki 30, Clinging Fire, the name of the hexagram in I Ching of this. Jinki is clinging fire. And we are looking and exploring frequency of desire as our shadow, leading us into lightness as our gift and into rapture as our city or divine gift. And my personal contemplation time with this Jinki was very interesting. From the very first moment that I brought this Jinki into my environment, into my awareness, I was met with the idea of fire. And I was not really paying attention to clinging fire, the name of the hexagram. And later, as I was going through my own contemplation, through my own experiencing of this Jinki within my environment, it was very clear to me that this is the energy of fire. And it brought me to remembering the concept of tapas, that we think of while studying yoga or reading any yogic descriptions in books. And tapas is the life force energy that we are in a way burning. It's like our burning desire. It's like the universe experiencing herself through our body. So we are expressing our life force energy through this inner fire that is within our body. And of course, the quality of this fire could be similarly to fire. It could be burning, it could be destroying, or it could be warming, it could be nurturing. So similar to the desire is a unique language. Desire is actually within Jinki teachings, within Jinki system. This Jinki belongs to the codon ring of purification. So similar to yoga, when tapas, we use tapas, energy of tapas, of inner fire, to purify us. So similar here, we have this shadow of desire that comes into our life to tell us something. It is, I personally believe that this is information. Our desires are language that we are learning to listen to. And also, speaking of Jinki, the Jinki 30 is represented also to and by through our solar plexus. And our solar plexus is becoming, or not just becoming, but strengthening its quality of perception. So this is becoming, in a way, our solar plexus becoming our communication tool, the tool that we receive information through in a more in a way that is less esoteric, in a way that is easier to understand. We have always been receiving information through our different chakras or through our different centers of information. However, this time is truly about developing our solar plexus as the center of receiving information how through our emotions, through our desires. Where is our solar plexus? If you're not really sure where that is, our solar plexus is this area right here, just somewhere slightly above our stomach and where our diaphragm is. And this, and anatomically, we can't really see solar plexus. It's not an organ that is represented by matter. Solar plexus is connection of different nerves ending in one point. And this point becomes very vulnerable, very receptive to everything that could happen to us. If we receive a blow into this part of our body, we'll lose our breath for a moment. And so that means that this is an incredible life force energy area where we harness that life force energy, but it's also the point where we will receive a lot of information. So that I thought was incredible, to think of desire as the information that is coming to us so that we could learn something from the language of our desire, that we could learn something through understanding the frequency of this desire that we are experiencing. And most of the time, that desire is unveiling, is uncovering for us many more shadows that are there. And when we think of desire, for a lot of us, this burning desire could be represented by something that's very sensual, that is something very sexual. For some of us, it could be desire of our heart, our feelings, desire to feel something or someone. And the next level of our desire could be desire of our mind, to know something, to understand something. And you could maybe sense how any of these layers or levels of desire are not better or worse or in any way more empowering than the other. They are all desires. They are all clingings. We could cling to our mental desire to understand something just as much as our desire to feel something through our bodies, physicality. So there is no better or worse. They're all a language that we are learning to observe. And so there is an interesting part about desire, that without our special superpower tool awareness, if we're simply led by our desire, we are becoming a slave. That desire, that need, it could be neediness of our heart, that could be neediness of our mind, that could be neediness of our body. Regardless of what layer, where within which layer of your body that desire is, this is something for us to learn about this desire. There is something for us to uncover about it. So while working with desire, this week I have been presented with the opportunity to use this tool that I apply, but less, I would guess, less intentionally throughout my life. Although I am very aware of this tool and a lot of time to consider it when responding to some type of desire, to some type of need or want that I perceive within my reality. And this time, so what is the tool? The tool is specifically for me, for my life. And once again, I invite you to have your own tools. But as an idea, I'd like to share this tool with you to listen to whatever desire that is coming to your space for at least 72 hours, for 3 days. To give that desire space to be within your reality. So there, as some of my previous patterns in life, I could definitely see and say that once I would see desire within my reality, I would go to fulfill that desire, regardless of where that desire lies around spirituality, around sexuality, around my physical needs. Whatever that was, it was immediate fulfillment of that fire energy, giving my effort and giving my life force immediately to that. Well, now I'm learning that that is probably not the most healthy way to deal with desires, or not just healthy way, but not the way to accumulate attention, and not the way to accumulate wisdom from this language. The way to really learn language is to be exposed to that language, right? And so similar to the language of desire, exposing yourself to this message and listening to that message for a while is really, really useful. And so for me, for the past 3 days that I've taken to contemplate a very specific desire that literally came into my space recently, exactly within the time that I was focusing on Jinki 30. was really useful, because within the first day, that desire to act upon was so strong. It was the desire to get into action right away. On the second day, the inspiration of that desire was there. It was not necessarily this strong, almost visceral energy to do that. It was more mental. It was more of the energy, what would it be like? What would it feel like to do that thing that I'm desiring to do? And on the last day, the desire was almost gone. It was almost not there. But what was there? This feeling of ease. That feeling of, I kind of like that what I wanted to do, I have already done within my being, within my mind, through simply allowing this desire to talk to me, to speak to me. And that feeling of lightness, weightlessness, allowed me to remember and understand that I'm not that what my desire is telling me to be or to do. I'm not that. I don't have to be defined by my needs and my desires. I am so many things rather than just that one want, that one need, that one desire. And regardless of which level of your desire you are experiencing, right? Physical or sensual, emotional or mental, the transformation of this desire will also give you that type of weightlessness. If you were transforming physical desire, you will experience the physical lightness. If you were transforming the emotional desire, you will experience the emotional lightness. And if there was a mental desire, you will experience this mental breakthrough, this mental lightness, weightlessness. And that where this weightlessness leads us to. It leads us into the rapture. As I am recording this on Ash Wednesday, ash as a symbol of one of these things that is like the result of a final fire transformation, right? What happens after fire is gone, the fire is put off, is just ash. There is nothing else. Is this weightless material of ash that is from fire element is transformed in the element of earth, and now it can go into the earth and become something else. So there is this beautiful symbolic way of seeing weightlessness of the ash that leads us into remembering of how we are all, in a way, are dust, cosmic dust, that we will all go back to. Although we can already experience this weightless quality, this weightless ability through remembering that we don't have to be defined by our needs. We don't have to be defined by our desires. We are all things all at once. We are shapeless, we are formless, as Bruce Lee once said. And that leads into the state of rapture, into the state of opening our hearts and opening our beings and minds so widely that we let everything in, but at the same time we let everything out. I invite you to listen to the language of your desires and see how much wisdom there is in your desires. Because as always, every shadow contains a gift. So every desire contains so much wisdom. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening with gratitude and light.